Lesson 18, Part 2, Periphrasis. Periphrasis is using helping verbs to make a verb tense. English does this all the time. To make the present progressive in English, we might say, I am going. To make the future perfect, we might say, I will have gone. Both of these are periphrasis because helping verbs are used. I went or I go are not periphrasis because the tense is expressed without helping verbs. Greek normally forms verb tenses with just verb endings. However, Greek can use periphrasis as well. Eimi will be the helping verb with a participle for the main verb. So baptizo means I am baptizing, or eimi baptizon means I am baptizing. They mean the same thing, they're formed differently. There are 6 different structures that Greek does this with. So first off, we've got eimi in the present with a present participle is going to make the present tense or the present progressive for English. So this is going to be basically the equivalent of English's am plus ing makes a present or present progressive. So for example, here, tu tagar este ginoscantes, for ye are knowing this, are knowing, are knowing. Now, if eimi is in the imperfect, sort of like if it's in the past in English, but we still have a present participle, that's going to be imperfect tense, or like the English past progressive. He was teaching. If eimi is in the future with a present participle, that's going to be like Greek's future or English's future progressive, will be blanking. So will be grinding. And we've mentioned before that Greek doesn't really have a future progressive. This is the only way to express future progressive in Greek is with this periphrasis, because the regular future tense in Greek is not a progressive tense, it's just a simple tense. Then if we have the perfect participles instead of the present participles, you can think of this sort of similar to a past participle in English with a form of eimi. Those are going to be our perfect tenses. So eimi in the present with a perfect participle is have blanked, such as I have been sent. That one happens to be passive as well. Eimi in the imperfect with a perfect participle would be had blanked, such as had been cast. That one is also in the passive. Eimi in the future with a perfect participle will be will have blanked. This is a future perfect, which again, Greek doesn't have a separate tense for that, but that is what it is. I will have believed in him. It's a future as something that will have already happened at a future point. Any of these can also be passive. We did see a couple of those up there that were passive. Ye will be hated. As you can see, all that's happening is the participle is put into the passive for that. Otherwise, it follows the same structure. Notice how in the chart above, the green present participles in Greek are translated using present participles in English. That's how we make our progressive tenses. All 3 of those also have a form of be in English, are, was, will be. The blue perfect participles in Greek are translated using past participles in English to make our perfect tenses. All 3 of those have a form of have in English. Have been sent, have been cast, will have believed. Summary. Periphrasis is using helping verbs to make a verb tense. Here are the 6 structures that you need to learn. And here are some minute details. The structure of eimi with a passive participle is sometimes used as a different structure to give a state that something's in. You don't necessarily need to be able to tell the difference, but if you're curious, try putting the words in a state of being or in a state of having been or something similar between eimi and the participle. If it fits, the structure is technically not periphrastic. It's a linking verb with a participle functioning as a predicate adjective describing the subject. Occasionally, this structure could be either periphrastic or stative. So here's an example of either. Ye shall be hated. It could be that we're emphasizing that people are going to be hating you, or we could be emphasizing that you're in a state of being hated by people. Here's another one. He found the place where it was written. We could be emphasizing that it was written at some point in time in the past, or we can be emphasizing that it's in the state of having been written. Here's one where it has to be stative or predicate adjective. A man who was paralyzed. This is the state that he's in. So a man who was in the state of being paralyzed. But nothing is hidden. The emphasis here is that the thing is hidden, not that someone was doing some hiding of it. For his eyes were sleepy, which was hewn in stone. You will be silent. Here, technically, that's a verb in Greek. It came across as an adjective in English. And in the synagogue was a man who had a spirit of an unclean demon. If you look at this, though, in Greek, and in the synagogue was man having, that has to be an actual participle here and not periphrasm, because it wouldn't make really sense to say that in the synagogue was a man who was having a spirit of an unclean demon. We can't even do that in English.